At number 10, Janet Jackson. I'm pretty sure this incident has gone down in history as one of the biggest TV scandals ever. The 2004 Super Bowl halftime show made history when those in the stadium as well as those watching at home watched a wardrobe malfunction unfold, which later turned into a much bigger deal than just being exposed in front of millions of viewers. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were performing together during the halftime show, and when a move went wrong, Janet's breasts ended up getting exposed, and this became the scandal of the year. The FCC sued CBS for the live incident in a $550,000 lawsuit citing indecent exposure for their cause. This was not only a big deal for the companies behind the broadcast of the Super Bowl, but also Janet Jackson because she was put through the ringer for her part in the whole scandal. As a result, her career took a massive hit. She was uninvited to the Grammy Awards that year, and her songs were even blacklisted from the radio. This scandal followed her for many years because even after things died down following this incident, the next 2 albums that she went on to release tanked because of her reputation following this live TV scandal. At number 9, Milli Vanilli. Back in the 90s, there was a huge music scandal that caused a lot of damage to both people's careers and their lives. The lip sync scandal that surrounded Milli Vanilli was one of music's biggest scandals at the time, and it revealed that their entire act was based on a lie and that everything was fake. This stage act was put together by German record producer Frank Farian as he attempted to create the biggest music stars. It worked in theory, but they faded away just as quickly as they rose to fame. Frank had a vision to be able to release amazing music, but he needed the perfect people to sell it, and that's where Morbid and Politis came into play. Frank hired these 2 dancers to be the faces of Milli Vanilli, and even though it was a musical act, they never had to sing. In fact, they lip-synced their entire career, though that career was short-lived. Their act became a hit and it worked for a while, even earning themselves a Grammy for the song Girl You Know It's True. But like all good things, they can never last. Milli Vanilli conquered the Billboard charts and they were asked to tour and perform live, but things started to get difficult for them since this act never really sang and playing pretend on stage was starting to get more and more difficult. Eventually, they were caught in the act, so to speak, as their track suddenly stopped during a live performance, revealing that they were faking it all along. Now, before I carry on with the rest of the video, I've got a super special guest to come and tell you guys about a super cool channel that you should totally come check out.
Thank you so much, Bree. So, I am Court, and I am from a channel called Kick Back and React. We are a reaction and comedy channel, and instead of me just talking about it, here's a clip. Steam frog legs. Oh my gosh, the frog is whole! The frog is whole! Oh my god, it's oozing! It's oozing! It's oozing! Oh! Well, there you go. So make sure after watching this video, you head over there, check out a few videos, and subscribe.
At number 8, Sharon Osbourne. I think we all know that our words can really do a lot. They can make people feel better, create change, and they can also hurt people. For Sharon Osbourne, her words caused someone pain, and as a result, she landed in a scandal and was fired from her job at The Talk. After making some comments about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, Sharon faced backlash and caused uproar. This all went down on The View as Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood got into a heated argument surrounding Piers Morgan's remarks about Meghan Markle. During this feud, Sharon said that she agreed with some of Piers' comments about Meghan Markle's mental health, and this frustrated Cheryl because she didn't like the negative things that were being said about those involved. This very heated debate later prompted an internal investigation after it was alleged that Sharon had been making disrespectful comments about her fellow host as well. Sharon's comments led her to getting exposed for her ignorance and disrespect and led to her getting cancelled online.
And at number 7, we have O.J. Simpson. On June 17, 1994, the public was glued to their TV screens as a live broadcast of a police chase was all over the news. This was the day of the infamous O.J. Simpson police chase through Southern California. This was the biggest scandal on TV because he was the man that the public saw as an all-around cool guy. Having been a football legend, movie star, and TV pitchman was in this moment, on the run from police trying to avoid being arrested for ending the lives of 2 people. OJ was reportedly supposed to turn himself into the police for the crimes. But when he decided to flee instead, he was deemed a fugitive, and so the chase began. There were a swarm of TV helicopters broadcasting the whole thing, and around 95 million people tuned in to watch the event on TV that night. Soon OJ was apprehended, but this first scandal only marked the beginning of the media frenzy that was to come with the infamous O.J. Simpson trial.
At number 6, Sean Penn. Here's another example of words coming back to bite you. At the 2015 Academy Awards, Sean Penn was announcing the award for Best Picture. Before reading the name of the winner, Alejandro G. Iñárritu, he made a joke that no one laughed at. Before announcing Alejandro as the winner, Sean joked saying, quote, "Who gave this son of a bee his green card?" Sean's joke was seen as highly offensive and racist, as one person online explained, quote, "The struggles people endure for immigration justice are not punchlines," end quote. As Alejandro is Mexican, this joke was definitely uncalled for and inappropriate. Some defended Sean, saying that he only made the joke because they had been friends for about a decade, but others made the argument that, quote, a director of color can't accept an Oscar without being the butt of a racist joke, end quote. The award show was supposed to be a scandal-free evening, but instead news outlets took to broadcasting Sean's offensive remark, and so many viewers at home were taken aback by what was said, once again leading to a scandal that really should never have happened in the first place.
In at number 5, Paula Deen. There was once a time where everyone was in love with Paula Deen. She was once the wholesome southern mom who loved to cook. But after 2013, her public image was tarnished after a lawsuit revealed her racist actions to the world. Back then, Paula was facing legal action from one of her former employees who alleged that Paula was racist towards her and that she had been repeatedly harassed while working at one of her restaurants. After being deposed, the truth came out after Paula was asked if she had ever used the N-word, and she admitted to it. After this came out, things got worse for Paula and the backlash ensued. As anyone would do, Paula tried to control the situation and de-escalate it, and even sat down for an interview on the Today Show. But instead of owning up to her actions and trying to clear her name as most people would try to do, Paula insisted playing down the situation, deflected the blame, and even commented on how surprised she was that people were mad about what she did. It was thought that this interview was all for publicity, not for making a public apology, and after this, her career has never been the same.
At number 4, Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen is known for his wild characters and crazy improv. From Bruno to Borat, he seems to live most of his life in character, and this was seemingly no exception at the Academy Awards in 2012. Sacha came to the event and walked the red carpet in character as Admiral General Shahbaz Al-Din from his film The Dictator, and along with being accompanied by 2 bodyguards, he carried a pretty bizarre prop with him, a golden urn filled with the ashes of North Korean Premier Kim Jong-il. While walking the red carpet, he stopped to be interviewed by Ryan Seacrest, and then this happened. Sacha dumped the ashes on Ryan, ruining his suit and causing a scene, and later a bit of a scandal. Weeks later, we found out that Sacha's original target was George Clooney, but since it was a big night for him at the Academy Awards, they skipped Clooney and the unfortunate prank landed on Ryan instead. A lot of people thought that Sacha went too far with that bit, and he faced some hate and criticism as a result. Everyone watched the moment unfold, and it was pretty embarrassing, so it's no wonder that after that, Ryan refused to interview Sacha again.
And at number 3, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is known to take creative liberties, but her 2012 Grammy performance may have gone a little bit too far. At the award show that night, the rapper seemingly dedicated the evening to promoting her new song Roman Holiday, as she filled her night with references to Catholicism. First, she walked the red carpet, accompanied by someone portraying the Pope, but the whole theme really came together during her live performance, where she depicted a mock confessional, an exorcism, and danced alongside people dressed as altar boys and monks. Nicki's performance was creative, but was also deemed controversial, as it really angered the Catholic League. The league's president had a lot to say about the performance, calling it vulgar and questioning how the performance got approved, and saying, quote, whether Minaj is possessed is surely an open question, but what is not in doubt is the irresponsibility of the Recording Academy. Never would they allow an artist to insult Judaism or Islam, end quote. Nicki said that this was part of a character that she had been writing a backstory for, as this character was set to play a more significant role in her music to come. She faced some of the backlash for the whole ordeal, but it clearly wasn't enough to completely cancel her.
In at number 2, Kanye West. I think we all know that Kanye West is an outspoken dude. No matter the circumstance or setting, Kanye will do whatever he wants when he feels like it and won't apologize for any of it. One example of this has to come from his commentary on the situation in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana back in 2005. After the devastating storm passed through the area, celebrities were gathered to do a televised fundraiser to help those affected. Teleprompters were set up for the stars to read statements and encourage people to donate, but Kanye decided to Kanye it up a bit and add some of his own thoughts to the situation.
I've even been shopping before even giving a donation, so now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give.
Kanye went on a tangent about how he feels for the people affected, especially black families struggling to stay safe and fed, saying that he wanted to donate as much as he could to the cause. He went on for a while, and after he passed it back to Mike Myers, who he was presenting with, Kanye took the attention back to then say the infamous line,
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
They immediately cut the broadcast from them and went over to someone else, and Kanye's remarks were made famous, but probably not in the best way.
And in at number 1, Britney Spears and Madonna. Can you believe it's been 18 years since Britney Spears and Madonna blew people's minds when they kissed live on stage at the MTV Awards? After Britney, Madonna, and Christina Aguilera opened the show with a performance, they did something that was considered pretty bold at the time. And Britney and Madonna shared a kiss. The moment was broadcasted by cameras that were cut for a brief moment, so those watching at home didn't see the whole thing, but the other people in the audience sure did. The camera did a brief pan out of the room when the kiss happened, and people were stunned, taken back, and losing their minds over what was going on stage. This kiss made headlines as expected. People talked about it, and it caused it to be a much bigger deal than it really should have been. Either way, looking back on it now, so many years later, I have to say, that was pretty epic.
In spot number 10 is the drama between Caitlyn Jenner and Ellen DeGeneres. It was back in 2015 when Caitlyn went on Ellen's show for an interview, and it ended with an ongoing feud between them. During the interview, Ellen asked her opinion on same-sex marriage, and Caitlyn said that there was a time in her life that she did not support it, but now she does. Ellen fired back immediately though, and made it seem like Caitlyn was saying that she does not support the LGBTQ+ community. The tension between them seemed to go past the show because Ellen talked about it on the Howard Stern show. She told Howard that Caitlyn was unfairly passing judgment about gay people and same-sex marriage. Caitlyn later came out with her side of the story and said she was not happy that Ellen painted her in that light. She claimed that she talked to Ellen on the phone prior to going on the show in the first place, and that they already discussed her changing opinion on same-sex marriage. So when Ellen flipped the switch on her during the live interview, Caitlyn was really upset. Cruising into number 9 is the Wendy Williams lip drama. She caused a big stir online after she talked about the Golden Globes on her talk show. It was because she started making comments about the awards show and began talking about the Oscar-nominated actor Joaquin Phoenix. But while talking about him, she mocked the scar that he has above his lip. She said that when he shaves his mustache, he has a hairline fracture, and then she started demonstrating with her hand how his lip scar looks like a cleft lip. People were furious and said she was insensitive not only to the actor, but also those who have cleft lips. Even Cher was furious and had a lot to say about it on Twitter. One of her tweets said an apology does not make up for what she did, and the other one said that she should be fired for making fun of something that is very painful for some people. Wendy did issue an apology following all the backlash, in case you're wondering, but is that enough? I don't know. She still has her job, so I guess so. In spot number 8, we have the time when Paris Hilton called out David Letterman. I did an entire list of celebrities who tried to warn us about David Letterman, so there is a handful of scandals that I could have used, but the one with Paris is what sparked the majority of them to be revealed in the first place. In 2020, Paris did a vulnerable documentary called This Is Paris, where she opened up about different times that she was belittled during interviews by other people in the industry, David being one of them. One video clip surfaced online showing him bugging her about her time in jail, which happened years before. He kept making very insensitive jokes about it, and even after she asked him to stop, he wouldn't. Paris revealed that he was purposely trying to humiliate her because he agreed not to bring up the jail thing before she even went on the show in the first place. After the clip went viral, a handful of other clips with different female celebrities surfaced, showing him belittling them and also being sexually inappropriate towards them. Taking over number 7 is Steve Harvey's note. He was making headlines in 2017 when a memo he sent off to his staff members was leaked online, showing him in a different light. People are used to seeing his very kind and goofy side, but apparently he is more entitled when he is off camera. The memo was sent from Harvey to his staff and basically told them all not to approach him. It said, "Do not come to my dressing room unless invited. Do not approach me while I'm in the makeup chair unless I ask to speak with you directly. Do not take offense to the new way of doing business." Turns out he was revamping things for season 5 of his show, and with a new crew, he wanted new rules. After the memo went viral, he decided to bail on the rap party for his own show. Probably because the staff all were terrified to even look at him. What do you guys think? Does he have a right to say that in a staff memo? Like, do you think it was too much? Do you think it's valid? Let me know. At number 6, we have James Corden facing backlash for allegedly being racist. This scandal caused a huge debate because some people felt he should be cancelled while others saw no issue with what he was doing. I will let you be your own judge. If you haven't seen his show, he does a segment called Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts. He fills the table with disgusting foods like cow tongue, different bugs, 1,000-year-old eggs, sardine smoothies, things like that. If his celebrity guest does not want to answer the question, they have to eat whatever is in front of them. He's been doing it for years, but this year he started taking heat after people said some of the foods that he refers to as disgusting are very common in Asian cultures. People said that the segment is culturally offensive and insensitive because many Asian Americans are consistently bullied and mocked for their native foods. James was quick to apologize though and be very understanding, saying that he will not do the segment and he will make appropriate changes to his show. We've made it halfway and we have Megyn Kelly vs. Jane Fonda. In September 2017, what started out as a normal interview led to some ongoing tension between these two ladies. They were having a normal interview which seemed to be going well until Megyn started asking Jane about aging and plastic surgery. It seemed to strike a nerve with her because she became irritated immediately and did not want to talk about it. She fired back at her saying, "We really want to talk about that now?" Then she changed the subject and began talking about her movie, Our Souls at Night. The interview just wasn't the same after that. You could feel like some awkward tension between them. Jane later joked about it months later on the Today Show, and Megyn replied by saying the actress is fixated on the exchange and said it was part of Jane's poor me routine. Things just seemed to get even worse from there. Just went on a spiral and a rant, and it's just not good. Rolling into spot number 4, we have Sharon Osbourne gets fired. Well, she was forced to step away, so you could say she kind of quit. Things turned sour quick when she went on the show and defended Piers Morgan, who gave his opinion about Meghan Markle's big interview regarding the royal family. His opinion was that he didn't believe Meghan's very serious claims. Sharon defended him, saying that he has a right to speak about his views and opinion, but that just caused issues for her because it came off like she was kind of agreeing with him. She tried to defend herself, but it ended up turning into a very heated argument between her and one of her other show hosts. The show had to cut to commercial and bleep out a bunch of F-bombs because the fight got so intense. The show was on a hiatus before it was announced that they would be moving forward without her. The show's statement said that her behavior towards her co-hosts did not align with their values for a respectful workplace. With that being said, at number 3 is Piers Morgan gets fired. You already heard the gist of what happened, but there was a lot of drama that led to him quitting the show, but media outlets say he was forced to step away. I feel like that's a nice way of saying, you're fired, I'm gonna give you opportunity to quit, if not, you're fired. He has been adored on the talk show Good Morning Britain, but then ITV announced they were getting a lot of complaints about Piers and they had to investigate them. Turns out the show received 41,000 complaints after Piers said he did not believe a word that Meghan Markle said in her Oprah Winfrey interview about the royal family. If you missed that very shocking interview, Meghan revealed how her mental health was negatively affected by the royal family and brought up certain incidents which were extremely racist and insensitive. Piers was open about the fact that he personally did not believe her claims. He ended up walking away from the show, which seemed to be a mutual agreement with the network either way, because they could not defend or protect his comments. Moving on to number 2, we have Jimmy Kimmel's insensitive comment. During one of his episodes in 2013, he offended the Chinese community around the world after making an insensitive joke. During one of his segments, a child suggested that harming everyone in China as a solution to dealing with America's growing debt. Jimmy responded to it by saying, "That's an interesting idea." The statement enraged a lot of people, even if it was meant to be a joke or sarcasm, and people online were demanding an apology from him. Eventually, Jimmy released a statement saying, "I thought it was obvious that I didn't agree with that statement, but apparently it wasn't. So I just want to say I am sorry, I apologize, it was certainly not my intent to upset anyone." I feel like he just chose to use sarcasm at a very bad time. Like, sarcasm either hits or it misses. Earning the number 1 spot is the feud between Dakota Johnson and Ellen DeGeneres. This has gone down as one of the most iconic and cringeworthy moments in talk show history. In 2019, a feud sparked between the two of them after Dakota went on her show to do an interview. At the time, they had already had this ongoing debate on whether or not Ellen had been invited to her birthday party. In 2018, Dakota admitted she did not invite Ellen because she didn't know if she would want to be invited, so in 2019 she did invite her. But Ellen did not show up to the party and also did not give any explanation why. So when Dakota went on her talk show, Ellen brought it up and accused her of not inviting her to her birthday again. The tension was immediately super uncomfortable as Dakota starts bringing other people into it. She said, I quote, "Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. Ask everybody. Ask Jonathan, your producer." She literally then points to the producer and calls him out during the interview. The producer revealed that she was in fact invited, and then it was super awkward because Ellen didn't even say why she didn't go, and then the audience just had to sit there and watch the whole thing unfold.
And at number 10, no BIPOC winners. With diversity being the forefront of most award shows these days, many were shocked to learn that not one person of color won any of the major acting awards at the event. Only few people of color won any awards in general, leading the hashtag #EmmySoWhite to trend. During the 3-hour ceremony led by Black host Cedric the Entertainer, it took 2 hours for a person of color to be recognized. That win was for RuPaul Charles and his RuPaul's Drag Race team for Outstanding Competition Program. That win also made RuPaul break the record for the most Emmy wins by a person of color. Many actors of color were favored to win some of the major awards, but the wins never came. And at number 9, The Handmaid's Tale Biggest Loser. The series, based on the best-selling novel by Margaret Atwood, was nominated for a whopping 21 Emmys this year, which isn't really a shock as the show gets recognized at the Emmys each year, and the show has won a total of 15 primetime Emmys overall. But this year the show broke a record that no show ever wants to win, and that's the record for the most Emmy losses in one single night. Although the show had 21 nominations in total last night, it did not win one single award. The show actually beat the previous record held by Mad Men, which was nominated for 17 awards but won none of them. And at number 8, Seth Rogen's COVID rant. Seth Rogen was the first presenter of the night, and he walked on stage cracking jokes like usual. In his monologue, he decided to call out the award show for not being COVID safe. He said in part, quote, "There are way too many of us in this little room. They told me this was outside. Why is there a roof? What are all you people doing?" Adding, quote, "I went from wiping my groceries to having Paul Bettany sneeze in my face." Some felt that he could just be joking, but since he made a point to talk about it for so long, many felt he was genuinely concerned. The night's DJ, Reggie Watts, then had to reassure viewers after the commercial break that CBS was in fact following all recommended health and safety protocols, and all attendees had to be vaccinated along with showing a negative COVID test. And at number 7, WandaVision flop. WandaVision was one of the standout shows this year and brought tons of attention to the lead actress, Elizabeth Olsen. The show was up for 8 primetime Emmys and did not win a single one. The show was nominated for a slew of other awards at the Creative Arts Emmys from earlier this month and won 3 awards in total. The show received a total of 23 nominations overall and was primed to win 2 big acting awards. Both Kathryn Hahn and Paul Bettany were heavily tipped as the favorites in their categories for limited series drama, but they lost out to other shows like The Queen's Gambit and I May Destroy You. And at number 6, Andrew Cuomo. So this one didn't actually take place at the Emmys last night, but before last night's Emmys, the organization decided to revoke the award they gave to former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo in 2020. Last year when the coronavirus was ravaging New York, Cuomo became a rising star in American politics, and many felt they could trust him to take care of the pandemic. That's why the Emmys awarded him with the International Emmy Founders Award for effective communication and leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. But then scandal unfolded, and it was revealed that he had sexually intimidated and harassed at least 11 women, along with another scandal involving the placement of COVID patients in nursing homes. All of this combined caused Cuomo to resign as governor on August 10th of 2021, and then by the end of that month, the Emmys revoked the award. Halfway at number 5, Nicki Minaj. Although the Emmys tried to remain apolitical this year, the recent scandal involving Nicki Minaj was too hard to pass up, and the host made a controversial joke about the rapper. Right after the opening number, the host Cedric the Entertainer commented, quote, "We had to get vaxxed to come. I got vaxxed. I did not have a reaction like Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend," clearly referencing a viral tweet where Nicki claimed her cousin's friend's testicles swelled up because of the vaccine. That was not the only vaccination comment either. Ken Jeong did a skit where he's held up by a guard outside the Emmy venue to show proof of vaccination, clearly showing just how top of mind it is. And at number 4,
for Stephen Colbert's recall joke. The most partisan joke of the night was told by late-night host Stephen Colbert, who mocked the fact that California recently had a recall election for their governor Gavin Newsom. He said, quote, "First I have the results of the special recall election for the 2018 Emmy for Outstanding Comedy," joking that the winner of the 2018 award, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, could actually be given to the Marvelous Miss Larry Elder following a recall. Larry Elder is a reference to the Republican candidate who was the favorite to win if Newsom was recalled. Colbert finished off saying, quote, "And it only cost California $275 million. And at number 3, Netflix won the night. Netflix swept the award show last night, with the streaming service nabbing 44 awards total in 2021, the most of any network. The network not only dominated, but it won more than double the total number of awards of its nearest competition, which was HBO and HBO Max, who won 19 awards in total. The streaming service won most of its awards because of the hit show The Crown, as well as limited series The Queen's Gambit. Netflix has been pushing to dominate the awards every year since 2018, and it's usually behind HBO, however that was not the case in 2021. In at number 2, A Never-Ending Speech. The Queen's Gambit was one of the shows that swept the awards, and the show's director and writer, Scott Frank, won the award for Outstanding Directing for a limited or anthology series or movie. But his speech is what really made waves because it was so darn long. The speech was roughly 2 minutes, which is way more than the strict 45-second slot that the award winners were given. This speech was so long, the wrap-up music played not once, but twice, and Frank savagely told them to turn off the music during his speech. At one point when they started playing the music, he responded, quote, "Really?" and just kept talking. Many online found the long speech hilarious, while others thought it was rude and disrespectful to the other winners. And finally, number 1, The Fly. I'm sure you all remember the viral fly that landed on Mike Pence's head during the VP debate in 2020. Well, the Emmys did not forget it either, and planned a whole sketch around the hilarious moment. In the sketch, the host Cedric released the fly into the wild and told him, quote, "Alright buddy, this is it, do your thing and get out, no shenanigans." But of course, the fly ended up landing on Pence's head, or as he called it, Cloud 9. This joke got backlash for a few reasons, but most people just didn't think it was funny and thought it was way too old of a joke to be used at the 2021 award show. The fly also shouted at one point, quote, "All flies matter," as it flew off, which many found insensitive to the Black Lives Matter movement. Personally, anything that makes me remember any part of 2020 is just something I just do not want to see during an award show. Let's just all forget that year existed. And at number 10, Jennifer Lawrence. This is one you know we had to include. Jen is known for her quirky and down-to-earth personality and not taking herself too seriously. She's also quite the klutz, which she proved after she tripped while walking up to the stage to accept her Oscar for Best Actress in 2013. After she got up to the stage, the crowd gave her a standing ovation, and she said, quote, "You guys are just standing because you feel bad that I fell, and that's really embarrassing." And this isn't the only time that Jennifer has fallen. She actually fell at the Oscars again while on the red carpet a few years later. This Oscars klutziness has caused some to think she's just faking it all for press.
At number 9, Hattie McDaniel. Back in 1940, legendary actress Hattie McDaniel was nominated for an Academy Award for her work in Gone with the Wind, and she actually ended up winning the Oscar. However, because of segregation at the time, she was almost unable to accept the award because she was black, and they almost didn't let her attend the ceremony. Back then, the venue where the award ceremony was held was a whites-only establishment, so people from the studio that made the film had to pull a lot of strings to get the actress in the building, and even then she wasn't allowed to sit with the rest of the cast of Gone with the Wind. Instead, she was seated in the far corner of the venue away from everyone else, but as long as she was there and able to accept the award, that was enough. She made history that night and caused scandal, but it just showed Hollywood that racism will never win.
And at number 8, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. The whole world fell in love with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper when they were starring in the movie A Star Is Born. The on-screen chemistry between the pair was so amazing, many fans thought there was definitely a real connection between them. The rumors about these two got even crazier when the pair performed a ballad from the movie at the 2019 Oscars, and the chemistry during the performance was hard to deny. Lady Gaga had also recently broke up with her fiance Christian Carino around this time, leading many to think it was because of jealousy. And then during their performance, Bradley's longtime girlfriend Irina Shayk was sitting in the audience, which made things even more awkward. The whole situation got a ton of buzz for the movie, but might have had real-world consequences as Irina and Bradley split up shortly after.
At number 7, John Travolta. Now, I wouldn't really call this one a scandal per se, but it did have a lot of people talking and laughing about it, so I just had to include it. In 2014, John Travolta created one heck of a meme, and you probably remember it. At the Oscars that year, Idina Menzel was supposed to perform Let It Go from the movie Frozen, which was kind of the hottest movie at the time, and John Travolta was supposed to introduce her to the stage. Well, instead of introducing Idina, he instead welcomed someone named Adele Dazeem.
Gorgeously empowering song, Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen, please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
This mishap was incredibly embarrassing for both parties, as it created memes within minutes and was even the subject of a John Travolta name generator where it would scrabble your name like Adele Dazeem. Even though it was super cringy, there's actually an explanation for the whole unfortunate ordeal. According to John, Idina's name had been changed on the teleprompter at the last minute so that it was spelled phonetically because they didn't want to risk him messing it up. John hadn't rehearsed with the name spelt like that, so rather than the change help him out, it actually just made things so much worse, and Adele Dazeem was born.
And at number 6, Eminem. In 2003, the Oscars category for Best Original Song was jam-packed with big contenders, including the fan favorite Eminem track Lose Yourself from 8 Mile. Lose Yourself actually ended up winning the award, and nobody was more shocked than the rapper himself. After he won, Eminem did not get up on stage, and one of his other collaborators accepted the award on his behalf, saying that Eminem was not able to make it that night. But the truth is that Eminem was so convinced he would not win the award, he didn't bother to show up. In an interview later, he was asked about that night, and Marshall admitted that he was actually asleep when it was announced that he won, which I'm sure the Oscars were not happy about.
At number 5, Ryan Seacrest. This one is more of a personal scandal than a high profile one, but I'm gonna tell you about it because my boy Ryan was super hurt by it. Imagine being invited to one of Hollywood's biggest events just to get kicked out moments after you arrive. Well, this is basically what happened to Ryan Seacrest, as he was invited to the Oscars award ceremony one year and was kicked out of the awards show shortly afterwards. According to Ryan, he was invited to the award show to provide the segue from the pre-show event to the main award show, which in itself is a pretty big honor, but after he completed his task, he went to go find a seat because he assumed that he would be staying for the rest of the show, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. While he was looking for a seat, he was approached by the event's ushers and managers and was told, quote, "Mr. Seacrest, your car is ready." He was a little confused and was like, no, what do you mean? I just opened the show," to which they replied with, quote, "We don't have a ticket for you, Ryan." He continued recounting that experience, saying, quote, "They put me in a car and they drove me out, and the next thing I know, I'm on Hollywood Boulevard going away from the Oscars, and the LAPD are on the corner, the windows down, and they say, 'Hey Ryan, you're going the wrong way,' and I say, 'No, I'm going the right way.' They sent me home to watch on television like everyone else." He was pretty butthurt about it and maybe still holds a grudge for that, but at least he was able to get comfy at home.
And at number 4, the 1974 Oscar streaker. This one's a little less known, but since most award shows are live broadcasts, it's understandable that some people might try and take advantage. That's exactly what happened at the 1974 Oscars when a man decided to run naked through the broadcast. The man even flashed a peace sign while he ran past the presenter, David Niven. Niven was hardly fazed and responded by saying, quote, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was almost bound to happen, but isn't it fascinating to think that probably the only laugh that man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings." And honestly, probably the shadiest thing that I've ever heard.
At number 3, Sean Penn. Actor Sean Penn got into a bit of a scandal at the 2015 Academy Awards. The actor was announcing the award for Best Picture, but before reading the name of the winner, Alejandro G. Iñárritu, he made a joke that definitely did not land and actually offended quite a few people. Before announcing Alejandro as the winner, Sean joked, saying, quote, "Who gave this son of a B a green card?" Sean's joke was seen as highly offensive and racist because of Alejandro's background, as one person online explained, quote, "Struggles people endure for immigration justice are not punchlines." As Alejandro is Mexican, the joke definitely was uncalled for and inappropriate. Some defended Sean, saying that he had only made the joke because they had been friends for about a decade, but others made the argument that, quote, "A director of color can't accept an Oscar without being the butt of a racist joke." The award show was supposed to be a scandal-free evening, but instead news outlets took to broadcasting Sean's offensive remark.
And at number 2, Marissa Tomei. Before we had the infamous Moonlight La La Land mix-up, there was a popular conspiracy theory going around claiming that Marissa Tomei did not actually win her 1993 Oscar. Instead, the presenter just said the wrong name and everyone went along with it. This theory was started because many were shocked to see that Tomei had won instead of her well-established competition. As well, following the event, The Hollywood Reporter printed a blind item about rumors that she hadn't really won. They claimed the presenter, Jack Palance, was too intoxicated to read it right, so he just read the last name as the winner. It was such a big rumor the Academy had to deny it many times. After the La La Land mix-up, we know that if she didn't really win, someone would have made it right.
And finally in at number 1, Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen is quite the jokester and is known for his wild characters. From Bruno to Borat, he seems to almost always be in character, and this was seemingly no exception at the Academy Awards in 2012. Sacha was at the event and walked the red carpet in character as Admiral General Shabazz Al-Addin from his film The Dictator, and along with being accompanied by 2 bodyguards, he had a prop with him, a golden urn filled with the pretend the ashes of North Korean Premier Kim Jong-il. While walking the red carpet, he stopped to be interviewed by Ryan Seacrest, and then this happened.
The interesting thing is it's actually made by South Korea. No, sorry. You've got Kim Jong. Hey, you've got Kim Jong-il.
Sacha dumped the ashes on Ryan, ruining his suit and causing quite a scene at the event. Weeks later, we found out that Sacha's original target was actually George Clooney, but since it was a pretty big night for him, they skipped Clooney and the unfortunate prank landed on Ryan instead. After that, Ryan purposely steered clear of Sacha, refusing to interview him, and the Academy has been vigilant of Sacha's stunts, even though they haven't really been able to stop them since.